Good morning, friends. Matt Greer here from Albuquerque, and this is the last day of the Quintessence Virtual Summer Choral Festival. Although I had a text from a friend this morning saying, "Can we do festival again next week?" And the answer is no, we cannot.
I was gonna say, Matt, I'll see you again on Monday, right? Like this is our thing now. This is our shtick.
This has been fantastic. And joining me again from the Twin Cities are Sarah Langworthy and Adam Reinwald, who have been in on running this thing from the very, very beginning and have made it all happen. And of course, we are all, last night was beer choir. Shall I just say that? And so some of us are in different levels of attentiveness this morning.
Just put that out there. Just put that right there.
Adam, how many Excedrin have you had this morning? Be honest.
Unfortunately, 0.
Before we hit record, sorry, Adam, it's Friday. I'm just throwing you under the bus now.
Okay.
Before we hit record, Adam was like, so I should have stopped with the beer choir beers, and I didn't. Oops.
Right. Yeah. I would think that having to, drink them online with people watching might be a moderating influence.
Nope.
One would think, but as soon as the camera goes off, then
Right.
So I'm curious, Adam, how long have you been doing the virtual happy hours? Did you start those right out of the gate?
We did. Sarah, I believe our first one was March 16th or something like that.
Something like that, real quick.
Pretty close. We've only skipped a couple weeks due to a little bit of vacation, and we had a couple of other things happening in April. But we've been doing them pretty much consistent all the way through. We shifted a little bit. We started Thursday night and Sunday night, and then we just said let's just go to Thursday night and call it good. So it's been fun to do, and it was great to have you on last night.
Yeah.
Thanks. It was a great addition to our week because, as you know, beer choir has been kind of our thing also for a few years, and we always have a beer choir during festival week, so it was just perfect. It was a perfect thing to do. Yeah, I wanted to just do a brief recap of yesterday, which was, today's going to be fantastic. We will talk about that, but yesterday was marvelous, and the replays are up for you to view. Jennifer Kuchar's session I learned so much from, and she is somebody who's she's one of those voice teachers who loves to geek out about pedagogy and all of that kind of stuff, which I always really like. And especially the apps that are available to voice people these days are kind of amazing. Yeah.
I thought her using the apps, I found myself wanting to just test how accurate I could possibly be with it, and then I remembered, oh yes, pedagogy, breath. So it was fun to play, but also to remind yourself there's a lot of good work to be done with those apps.
So yes. Adam, what you're saying is it's making you more neurotic.
Great.
Apparently, no. I'm just not holding back today. Apparently.
I guess not. All right.
I kid.
Yeah. When we think that we're singing in tune and then we actually see it on a graph going like that, that's not necessarily good for the ego. I would rather just think that I'm singing in tune.
I'm perfect and everything is great.
Right. Yeah. And I had such a good time doing that session with my friends Barney Smith and Taylor Davis. You notice from the very beginning, of course, that I was dressed a little. I am dressed in my Quintessence Choral Festival uniform, a black t-shirt and dark jeans. This is what I wear for, it's a superstition now, this is what I wear for all the rehearsals and everything. So we pre-recorded that session, and when I popped on to see that my friends had conspired against me to make me feel underdressed, there's an outtake video that was being distributed among a small group of friends yesterday. And let's just say when I first saw them sitting there in formal wear, I expressed myself verbally. So
yeah, there were some good swears in there. It was good. I enjoyed it heartily. So Matt, I have a question about the outfit. So is it like it's like the Steve Jobs approach, right? Like you just it just simplifies everything. But I have a very important question given what we learned about Robert Shaw this week.
Yes,
is it the same black t-shirt all week?
No.
Okay. And you do shower between. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
We can't smell you from here. So
I have a whole closet full of black t-shirts, and most of them are covered in cat hair because that's the world that I live in. But they are, it's a bunch of different black t-shirts. Good question. Thanks, Leah King. I wanted to mention one thing. Yes, the session yesterday with Barney and Taylor was so wonderful, and Barney was able to do the editing on that so that we could see some of those moments of wonderful performances that the piece was given in England last year. I meant to mention and forgot to that there is a plan in the works, and actually Quintessence Festival people know this because we have been talking about it, and we're just in the preliminary planning stages of it when lockdown occurred. I am to conduct that piece, the Taylor Davis Magnificat, in London next June at Cadogan Hall, a terrific company that is putting on concerts for American choirs in London. Vox Anima London, Jamie Metters is the guy, and he fell in love with the piece and wanted to make a performance of it possible. So we've been planning towards that, and I have every hope that it is going to happen. There is a date set. But of course, all of Jamie's concerts that were to happen in Cadogan Hall in June didn't. And so I just want to put that out there. If you've not heard about that project, send me an email, and I'm happy to keep you in the loop about that, because Taylor will be bringing singers from Dallas. I'll be bringing singers from New Mexico, and really anyone can join that party. It's a wonderful piece and an amazing space. So
cool.
Hey, Adam, I think that's the clincher. We got to move to Albuquerque.
Oh.
We were talking about this yesterday. We're like, okay, do we have to move to Albuquerque? Like, we might have to move to Albuquerque. I think now we do.
Again, Albuquerque, not a lot of people know this. Fantastic pizza town.
Poor Adam. Not only does he have a headache, now his friends are ragging on him. Poor buddy.
Next year, we're going to get a pizza sponsor or two, Adam, and we're going to let you choose. So
perfect. Thank you.
And then Marcus Garrett's session the afternoon. If you didn't get a chance to see it, go back and look at it. It was so interesting and so much terrific information, both from kind of a broad view of choral people, choral singers, what choral singers should be bringing to the rehearsal, what they have responsibility for, which is near and dear to the conductor's heart to think about those things. But also some fantastic and helpful information about singing spirituals, the history of spirituals, and everything you want to know, including how white choirs should engage with spirituals, which is a really interesting discussion. And he's just a great presenter, so much energy, and it's well worth watching.
It's a career to kind of keep an eye on for sure, because he's been a well-known composer and arranger for a little bit now, and now he's kind of stepping into this world boldly with a lot of new great information and presented in such a charismatic way. So Marcus is really a neat guy, and I think he's going to go very, very, very far.
Yeah, I agree.
So Marge wants to know, speaking of cat fur, please tell us your kitties' names. They are delightful additions to the chat.
Thank you. Wow. This cat that is asleep behind me on this ottoman is named Yunsun, YUN-SUN, which is a Korean name. She actually is named after a favorite former piano student of my wife, Amy's, from Boston. When we moved out here, she was missing her students, and we were just to the place because that we could actually finally adopt cats, which had long been a goal of hers. And so basically the deal is we've adopted cats, and Amy has chosen the cats, and I've named them. This is Yunsun, which in Korean means lotus blossom of goodness, for those of you playing at home. And then the other one, who's made random appearances, who's a tortoise shell with all kinds of attitude, is named Godiva because she looks chocolatey. So
cool.
Thanks for that.
Before we hit record, and we were chatting ahead of time, Yunsun had jumped up on Matt's back and was like thwopping him in the face with the tail. I was like, I wish we were recording right now.
Yeah, I think she may be ready for this week to be over, but at least we've been home. She likes it when we're home. I wanted to mention a couple of things this morning, and the first is to give a plug to a friend who is doing a similar event as we just did. Claire Mead is a woman that I met in a webinar, choir directors hanging out, talking about how to do stuff virtually, also the same place where I met Sarah Langworthy, thank God. And Claire is involved in a choral festival in New Hampshire called the Ogontz Choral Workshop that has been going for a long time. And the setting of this looks absolutely spectacular. So I know they're mourning not to be able to do that in person this year, but they've got some amazing programming lined up August 3rd through 5th. And those of you that have now been to a virtual choral festival and had a good experience, go to their website and check it out. And they would love to have registrants from all over the world. So Claire, thanks for being with us this week, and we wish you every success on your event. Yeah. And then if you are a registrant for this festival, you received an email from me this morning rolling out a very exciting thing that has been offered to us by our friends in Voces 8. And you probably have seen advertising for this particular series of concerts the last couple of weeks. It's called Live from London. And it is concerts every Saturday, beginning the 1st of August through early October. All of them live, most of them live from London, most of them live from the Voces 8 Center, where they did an event for us on Tuesday. And consecutive Saturdays, all in high definition. You get to view them in real time as they're happening. They'll all be at noon Mountain Time. And then you have access to view them afterwards. And if you buy the package from Voces 8 on the Voces 8 Foundation's website, they're offered for $100 for the package, which is amazing. For our registrants, Paul Smith made us a really lovely deal, and that is you can buy the whole package for $90, and a portion of that will come back to support the work of Quintessence. And so we're so excited and so grateful for that. This is not on our website. This is to access for our registrants, our participants this week only. And so look for that email. If you didn't receive it, get in touch with me and I'll make sure you get the information that you need. But that's pretty exciting. Hey, folks.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, and especially since even if you're watching and you're like, oh, I really want that deal. And also this Q Festival thing sounds kind of cool, but I'm just stumbling on this now. You can still register and see all of the replays for an entire month. So somebody do the math for me, because math is not my strong suit. If you want $90 instead of $100 for Voces 8,
plus 50
Live from London, plus 50, that's $140.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Math with Matt? Is that what we've turned into?
Oh God, no. So yeah, if you're just seeing this on the stream or whatever, it is entirely possible to go ahead and register for our festival. All of this great content that has been piling up and will be available for another month for only $50. And then by having access to that, you also have access to the other, as Sarah said. So we would love to have you. And that's starting really, really quickly. Voces 8, the Swingles, Chanticleer is doing an event live from San Francisco, again, because geography is not an issue for everything. You can see the whole lineup of them on the site. But if you're planning to do it anyway, especially purchase the package from us. We would so appreciate it. I just want to talk about what's going on the rest of the day, all. So when we get done here, we have a session at 10 a.m. with Ingela Onstad. Ingela is a wonderful soprano, teacher, therapist, coach. She's here in Albuquerque. She and her husband, Michael Hicks, is a baritone, are some of Amy and my favorite people, some of our best friends. And Ingela has been involved in Ingela and Michael have been involved in the choral festival since the beginning. They've kind of been our go-to soloists for everything from Haydn Lord Nelson Mass to Bach Magnificat to 2018 when they were the soloists when we did the New Mexico premiere of the Bob Cohen Alzheimer's stories, which was tremendously powerful. And she's a fantastic teacher and a wonderful presenter. And so we hope you'll be here for that. And the topic is really, really good, both for singers in general and for people right now, I think.
Very cool.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. How anxiety affects our music making. And so I think probably the answer is anxiety is not good for our music making. If I had to guess, that'll probably be one of the takeaways. And so how do we reduce that?
Great.
I doubt he's going to say anxiety is good for music making. Go ahead, argue with me. Change my mind.
I mean, you're more alert. So maybe I don't know. I got nothing.
I guess to a point. I mean, there's anxiety has its purposes. Anyway, Angela will be there. 10 o'clock Mountain Time. Thanks, you guys. That was a great discussion about that. And then,
Stress is great, we say on day 5 of leading a virtual choral festival.
And then at noon today, I am so happy that we're going to be joined by Jocelyn Hagan. You folks that were expecting to be in a room together this particular week, we're going to be rehearsing Jocelyn's notebooks of Leonardo da Vinci. And when we realized that that wasn't going to happen, first of all, Jocelyn was just tremendously gracious about that. And we decided that the plan for next summer, God willing, is that that New Mexico premiere will happen next July, and she'll be here and all of that kind of stuff. But boy, this is a piece that has been that people have just been buzzing about and performing, and everybody I've heard who has performed it, both the performers and the audience, have just been crazy about it and so moved. And Adam, you have seen a performance, have you not, up there?
I did. I was at the premiere weekend, and it was fantastic. Jocelyn is writing very, very deeply moving music. She's here, right here, so that's awesome.
Yay, hi, Jocelyn.
Here, but I just the combination of fantastic music plus the presentation of the multimedia component is just stunning. It's fabulous work. So I'm sad that you all didn't get a chance to sing it this summer, but I'm glad that it will be coming back in 2021. Yeah,
I got a chance I went over to Tucson to hear it in November when True Concord did it, and Jocelyn was there. And it was, it's just a tremendously powerful work. And I had obviously, gotten the score, had been looking at it, and had seen some of the video material, but it's one of those pieces that you really do have to see live. The interplay of all the video happening in real time with the music is something just really special.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
So Jocelyn will be with us at noon Mountain Time, and will talk to us about it and play some video from it. And this will just help to keep us excited and looking forward to when we get to do a performance of it in 2021. So don't miss that. And then what happens? Okay. And then at 3 o'clock.
Are we done yet? No, still not done.
Oh man. Thank you for keeping me on track. We had an amazing opportunity this week in that we got the rights for our participants to screen 2 amazing films. And the first, of course, was the Robert Shaw Man of Many Voices that everybody watched earlier in the week. And then we had that great panel discussion on Monday. And the second film that we've had access to, which I hope all of you have read, or all of you have seen by now, especially because the trivia question is going to be related to the movie, is called When I Rise. And it's an amazing story of a great soprano, Barbara Smith Conrad, who was from Texas and went to the University of Texas in the 1950s, just at the time that the University of Texas was being integrated. And because she was so talented, she won a role in the UT opera production of Dido and Aeneas as Dido, opposite a white male singer who was singing Aeneas. And it became this huge controversy, and the upper levels of the administration at the University of Texas intervened and actually took the role away from her. And so it's this amazing story in the backdrop of the civil rights movement. And one thing that pleases me so much about this is that my friend Carolyn Good, who appears in the feed as Martha Good, I think, is in the film and is going to be on the panel discussion. Carolyn sings in my church choir, has sung most every Quintessence Summer Choral Festival. And she was Barbara Conrad's great friend, fellow music student at the University of Texas, and helped advocate for her and protect her. And then Barbara, through an amazing set of circumstances, went on to have this great career in New York City and sang at the Met. And eventually, as you see in the movie, kind of came to a reconciliation with the University of Texas, and they welcomed her back. And it's a lovely and moving story. So you have time to watch it still.
And looking forward to a panel discussion with the folks who know the content and know that story very well. It always just kind of brings out a different layer, to what you do, what you see. The movie, for all the engagement that it is, can only give you so much. But to hear these, first-person accounts and stories are just amazing.
Yeah,
very cool.
We had Barbara died in 2010, Barbara Conrad died in 2017. And again, thanks to my friend Carolyn, we were able to bring Barbara to Albuquerque to appear on my church concert series and sing with my church choir, unbelievably.
That's
in
amazing.
2007, I believe, and that was an experience that I'll never forget. So, if you haven't had a chance to watch the film, watch the film. We have the filmmakers from the University of Texas. We have Carolyn Good on that panel. We have a wonderful soprano from New York City, a good friend named Adrienne Danrich, who is does a one-woman kind of concert show about celebrating Black opera singers. And so she's going to be in on that discussion, talking about what it means to be a woman of color in opera and how she relates to Barbara Conrad. So just very cool, the people that we have managed to attract to this thing this week.
Yeah, I mean, I had that reaction when you showed me who you had. I was like, how did he? What? I don't understand. There's just so many good people and so much good stuff. So yeah, for those of you who haven't bought your ticket yet, you can still do it, and I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
And yet the day is not over.
No, the day is not over. We have one more event after that, and I can think of nothing better to wrap up a week of connection and inspiration than to have a song event led by Ken Miedema. And Ken was on with us yesterday morning. Many of you know Ken and have experienced him in his visits to Albuquerque or elsewhere. And we collected, thank you for your submissions. We collected way more stories than we can use in this hour that he has. So we are kind of trying to give him a variety of stories about choir, which is what he asked for. And we'll be sending them, we'll be setting them up so that he can hear them and respond to them. Interestingly, I mean, I've seen Ken do this thing where people tell stories and he composes a song on the spot forever, which just blows my mind every single time. And as we had collected these stories ahead of time, I actually sent him a text last night and said, you know, you never have this luxury. Do you want me to just send you tonight the links to the stories and you can choose the ones you want to respond to and your mind can start moving on that? And he was so offended. He was like, no, I do this in the time. Do not send me anything ahead of time. Like, okay.
All right. That's funny.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's going to be a good culminating bit for the event. And yeah, as Adam just popped up there, you can continue to watch replays of any session for a month, an entire month. That's so much time. And there's the link to get that. And Matt, I'm going to suggest that people reach out to you and tell you about what this week meant to you or to folks, because it's just we've been hearing comments on and off, kind of on the streams here and getting emails here and there, but you know, let us know, let Matt know what this week of content has meant to you, because I think there's just been so much great stuff and so many good moments.
Yeah, I have, you know, I have been saying that I felt like I was kind of drawn into the idea, dragged into the idea of doing a virtual choral festival, kicking and screaming. But I mean, of course, I started to get excited as we got these amazing artists who bought in. But this week has surpassed my expectations. I had no idea that this could be so encouraging and such a morale boost and such a real source of, as we hoped, a source of connection and inspiration. And it certainly has. So, yeah.
And a great launching pad into the rest of the season, whatever that turns into.
Yeah,
this is your opportunity to stay with Quintessence after this choral festival. Stick around, because now it's an organization that knows how to do virtual work. May not be virtual choirs, but it might be great virtual work. So stick around.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Brad Ellingbo when he barged into my session the other morning about this, because we have been commiserating about what the season looks like, as every conductor has. And I think it's certainly the case that at least for the fall, whatever we're presenting is going to be in the virtual space. So others who might be interested in being in on that conversation or might have suggestions about what you would like for Quintessence to do for the fall, we would love to hear from you, because going from here is going to be thinking about what we're going to do to keep people connected and keep making good music. And I know that Adam and Sarah are involved in that in a variety of different capacities and with different organizations. And so I'll be looking to them, I know, to help continue to think about that. Can you guys talk at all about some of the things you're working on for the fall with other organizations and how other people are facing this?
Yeah, a little bit. So I'm working with several choral organizations across the country, thinking about virtual choirs. And so some people just want one virtual choir piece that they can use in a variety of different ways, and as a way to kind of engage with the singers and a way to continue to work on things together. And I have a few other clients who are like, we want to put on kind of our not our typical program, but we want to make sure that our audiences have a way to connect with us by putting on some sort of event. And so that might include a virtual choir element. It might not. It might be content they've recorded previously that they have either video or audio of, and putting that together, maybe with some interviews or other kinds of artistic content to really tell an engaging story, whether it's about the music or about the organization or about what the singers and musicians are experiencing. There's just a lot of ways to approach this time, and so I'm really enjoying talking with different organizations about what is your goal? What are you hoping to do? How are you hoping to connect in this time? Because I think, Matt, as you said earlier, sometimes it's hard to kind of wrap your head around the idea that connection can still exist even in virtual spaces. And this week has been an example of that, and a way to really cultivate community, not only internally with your people who would be at the festival anyway, but also with people all across the country, and even the world, because we have some Canadians tuning in. Hi, Canada. So, I think there's so many opportunities, and I love thinking about this stuff and talking about it. So I'm looking forward to talking to you again, Matt, about what's next for Quintessence, because
cool.
You got a great starting place here, and I'm excited to see where you take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adam, do you want to talk at all about some of the stuff you're involved in, music making, that you were talking about, or is that not the time to do so yet?
No, I mean, it's really relatively basic at this point. Sarah and I are working on kind of organizing with the musical leadership at the National Lutheran Choir up here in Minneapolis. We'll be working on their two kind of virtual presentations around All Saints, which is November 1st, and Christmas. In a lot of ways, we kind of were thrust into this at the beginning of April, and Sarah and I helped put together what I thought was a really exciting event, the virtual gathering. And so we have a bit of a bar to live up to there on these events, but we're looking forward to what it can be. And my organization, Open Voices, we're arranging a concert at the end of August. It's kind of a bit of a mishmash concert. Some really fantastic organizations like Contus and Border Crossing and Nation, Jocelyn Hagens and Tim Takash, their group, plus some fantastic soloists coming together, doing some pre-recorded music and a little bit of interview, and kind of putting that up along the lines of a live from London, but not live and not from London. So that's the model, but shifted a bit. So I think it's a great opportunity for organizations of all sizes to experiment with what could work online. So a lot of my work this summer has been working with organizations in Minnesota, arts organizations from museums and dance companies and orchestras and choirs, just about what their virtual presence looks like and how to get some best practices in order and explore, maybe toe in the water, explore what video production would look like, and even things like this. But this has been by far a much larger or expansive event than I had anticipated, but I was so excited to be a part of it. So I've had a great week, and thank you to all of you who have been around helping that out. Even the folks in the background are really enjoying getting to see the same names pop up here and there. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and thanks to Matt, this has been great.
Thank you, Adam. So before we go, we're going to give away a prize, and the prize this morning is a DVD of the film When I Rise, which we have been discussing thanks to our friends at the Dolph Briscoe Center for American History at the University of Texas, who not only made it possible for our registrars to see the film, but also donated a DVD for us to give away. So as usual, we do this by trivia question. Sarah and Adam will be looking at the chat box to see who answers first correctly. And this is kind of skewed to you if you have actually seen the film or if you know the story. As I mentioned, Barbara Conrad became the center of controversy in Texas in the 1950s as a student at the University of Texas, when she was awarded the opera role of Dido and Aeneas, and then the university, because they had so many complaints about a black soprano singing opposite a white tenor, they took the role away from her, and it became very much in the media, so much so that a very famous popular singer in New York City read about it and offered to pay for Barbara's education anywhere that she could go and get in, so that she could continue her education as an opera singer and a music student. Then when she came to New York City, this popular singer became her patron. And so I'm simply asking, who was that star? Who was that pop singer? What do we got?
Seeing some Harry Belafonte.
That is the correct answer. And he is interviewed in the film. Who was the first one?
Looks like Carla.
Carla Beecham. Way to go, Carla Beecham. You have won a copy of When I Rise, and that's awesome. I have lots and lots of good correct answers, don't we? Okay. Well,
a couple of quick questions that have come in the last couple of minutes that I want to make sure we get to. First of all, Adam, how can we get information about your August event?
Great question.
Very good. Openvoicesllc.com. I'll throw that in the chat. Just you can check that out. More information coming. Thank you for the question.
And then Chris asks, since we have replays, is it possible for people to sign up for the festival still? And if so, what is the time frame for the sign up, especially since folks have access for the month? Is it just a month?
That's a great question, Chris.
You should.
Let me ask my panel of experts here. What would you do? Should we leave registration open for the month?
Might as well, as long as the content's available.
Okay. All right. So I guess you can sign up for the next month. I don't see any problem with that. So yeah, send the information around, and it'll remain open, and people can register for $50. And we would love for people to have access to this content. That's great.
Yeah. So there's openvoicesllc.com to stay up to date on that August concert. We have lots of great comments coming in from people just saying thank you. Jean says this has exceeded all expectations. What a wonderful way to support our love of making music. Thanks, Jean. It's been a delight to be with you all this week. I came into this like, oh, I don't know Matt at all. We'll see how this goes. And it's been wonderful. So thank you all for being so welcoming and so kind and so lovely to work with and to put on this virtual festival for. It's been a joy.
Ditto.
Well, this has been, just looking at the chat, choir people are the best people, don't you think? They just really are.
They are.
A lot of love in the choir world, that is for sure.
Absolutely.
Danielle wants mornings with Matt to be a regular thing, just FYI. So,
Okay. All right. Well, Danielle is the person of whom I keep saying this is all her fault. She was the executive director of Quintessence. She has all these great ideas of things for me to do. She was the executive director of Quintessence for 3 years. She just had to leave us in May because she took a fantastic job at the University of Chicago in arts administration. Danielle, you're welcome. So it's great to see you on this morning. And thank you in all seriousness, Danielle, for encouraging me to do this, as you encouraged me to do so many things in the time that we got to work together. This has been a great week, and I'm very grateful to you for thinking of it. So.
All right, we're gonna hop on again next Monday, right? Like this is our. This is what we
right.
do now.
We'll see. I got time. We can, if we just find a sponsor, we can.
Right, just do this indefinitely.
Okay, we're gonna go away so that people can get ready for Ingela Onstad session that begins at 10 a.m. Mountain. We'll see you all there for that. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Sarah. We'll see you all in a bit.
Take care.